Hi guys, it's Ellen and today I'm back with a new junk journal spread. So this is my first video I've uploaded in almost a month because I've recently moved house. Me and my boyfriend have moved into our first house ready for the arrival of our little one who will be coming in not too long now. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've been able to film anything, but I'm really glad to be back because I love making videos and being creative. This video was filmed before we moved, so it's quite old to me, so I might not remember everything that I'm doing, so you have to bear with me for that. But I'm working with Tincika designs and I'm using the blue printable papers that she has in her shop. So as usual, whenever I work with anything from her Etsy shop, you'll always find that linked below in the description. So I love these blue papers. I did flip through them quickly at the beginning, but that's not actually all of them because I've already used some of them. But they're really pretty, and they're the type of paper that you can sort of make them look vintage, but also they could be quite modern. So I decided to go with the vintage look for my layout today. And I have this really old music book. So I've taken one of the pages from that, and I'm going to use that and the printable papers and create a little envelope to add to my journal. So I love making little envelopes, and whenever I do this I don't measure anything. I don't really practice or anything. I just sort of do it in the moment. So yeah, I don't have any measurements or anything for this, but I basically just trim everything down so that it's the size that I want to go into my journal, and then just fold the papers into three. So I've got the envelope and then the envelope flap. And when I've added the blue printable papers to the book paper, I've inked around all of the edges of everything, so it just helps with that vintage distress look. So yeah, I've got my envelope almost made here. I've also got some old lace that I'm going to add to the envelope flap, and then once I've done that I sew around the whole thing so it's all secure. I really like the look of it being sewn as well. So now that my envelope is made, I'm going to stick that into the this really small page that I've got in my book, which is actually music paper as well, so I thought that would work well, although I think I covered that up in the end. But yeah, so I've just stuck that onto the small paper just with some double-sided tape, and then I will journal on, my spread is going to be either side of that envelope. So on the left-hand page I wanted to cover that up with some more of these gorgeous papers. I really like the paper that is already on the page. It's an old comic book paper, but I just wanted to make sure there was more of that blue on this spread. And then the page on the right of the envelope is a floral pattern paper which already has blue in, so I thought that would be absolutely perfect. So yeah, I'm adding another one of the blue papers to the comic book paper, and I've just used double-sided tape just to stick that down. So I've inked around the edges of all of that left-hand page, and then I wanted to make something to go into the envelope I created. So I thought I would use some of my Tim Holtz journaling cards, but there wasn't really any that was the right size. So I've taken two of these smaller ones. I think they're 3 by 4 inches. I'm not entirely sure. But I've taken two of them and stuck them together to create my own journal card, and I just did that with some Tim Holtz washi tape, and I actually really like how it ended up looking. So then I'm going to start working with my photos, and these were taken right at the beginning of the year, and these are just stupid spur of the moment photos. I was with my mum and stepdad, and we had some of those sweets that look like teeth, and for some reason we thought it'd be hilarious to wear them as teeth, and we took loads of photos, and they absolutely make me die. Every time I look at these photos, I love them. So yeah, I definitely wanted to record this in my journal. I'm sure my mum and stepdad will be absolutely thrilled to see these in a video, because none of us really look that great, but they make me laugh. So I think that's the most important thing when recording things in your journal. It doesn't always have to be amazing photography or, you know, everybody all camera ready all the time. Sometimes it's funny to just add normal everyday photos, so that's what these are. So I've added 2 of those photos to that journal card I created. I added just some Tim Holtz die cuts. I had pink and blue flowers, so that worked perfectly with my colour scheme. I also added some washi tape, and then I stuck some more of the lace that I used on the envelope as sort of a tab to pull out the journal card. And then on the back I did the journaling and also added another die cut, and that's my journal card all done, so that slips perfectly inside the envelope I created. And then I'm just going to go ahead and decide where to put all of the rest of my photos. I wanted to add a bit of extra interest on the left hand page where I've got the beautiful blue pattern paper, so I'm just going to add some stamping, and I just do this with distress ink, so it's nice and light. It doesn't take away from the pattern of the page itself, but it just adds a bit of extra interest. And I also, one of the stamps I used was a music paper, music note stamp, so I thought that worked really well. I wanted to bring in some pink because on the right hand page the pattern paper has pink in it, so I thought that would look nice, and pink and blue is a colour scheme that I quite like. So I've got some pink pattern paper. These are just from a pad from the works, and I'm just going to add pops of pink around my page. So I backed 2 photos with pink, and they have gone on the left hand page. And then the back of that small page where I added my envelope, I wanted to cover that up because I wasn't really liking how that was looking. So again, I've used some of the pink pattern paper to do that. And I also added some stamping just to give that a distressed look, inked around the edges, and yeah, just to make sure it looked vintage like the other pieces that I have going on in this spread. I've got some more photos that I've added with some more of that blue pattern paper. I'm just using various different ones from this collection. I think there are 10 in a set, I can't remember for definite, but they all work together so well. So yeah, I've just used another one of those, and I wanted to bring in some more lace, so I'm just sticking some over the photo, and I've sewn that in and stuck that on the right hand side of my page. So these photos on the right hand side are from a different day, but again, they're just a day of being silly at home with my mum and stepdad, and I think Henny was in these ones as well. So they kind of went together even though they weren't on the same day. They're just everyday photos that make me smile, so I've added them as well. And I'm just sticking with the same papers, so I've got the blue papers, the music book papers, pink pattern paper, and it just makes sure that the whole spread is cohesive so that you know that they all go together. So I'm going to go through some more of the Tim Holtz die cuts and pick out some things that I think will work. I've added some label pieces where I've added just spots of journaling, and I've also added some more nice bright floral die cuts to tie in that floral pattern paper on the right hand side. And also I love the colours, and I love these die cuts as well. They're really pretty, so I'm wanting to make sure I added a few of them, and I think they work really well with the blue pattern papers from Tincika Designs because again, they're sort of vintage but kind of modern as well. You could use them either way. So I'm now going to flip through some of my tiny word stickers from Tim Holtz and just pick out things that I thought were relevant, and that's my page all finished. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you as always very much for being here, and I'll see you again soon. Bye guys.